Okay, so today I am going to cover a very important topic from the point of view of your all government job examination. Okay, so today we are going to cover, or I'm going to cover about Australia, a continent and a country. Okay, so where is Australia located in terms of relative to India? So in relative to India, Australia is situated to the south of east. Okay, so if we move to the south of India, so you can see that after Sri Lanka and Maldives, we are moving south of India. So south of India, you know that it is Indian Ocean. Okay, now if you move to the east, we have moved to the south, then if you move to the east, now south of east of India, so you are seeing that Sumatra Island has come. This is your Sumatra Island. Okay, and then after Sumatra Island, it is your Malay Peninsula, the part of Malaysia, and then to the further east there is this Java Island that belongs to Indonesia, and then Borneo, this yellow part, which belongs to both Indonesia as well as Malaysia. Then further east, Sulawesi Island, and then further east, Papua. Okay, Papua and Papua New Guinea. And now we are moving somewhat south to this, then Arafura Sea. Okay, and now to the south of Arafura, not Arafura Sea, we are having Australia. Okay, so you can see that it is a huge country. So Australia is also called as a continent. Okay, now today we are seeing that what is the strategic location or geographic location of the Australia. So we can say that Australia is separated from Asia by from the north by Arafura River. Okay, and Australia is separated to the north of west from Asia by the Timor Sea. Okay, Timor Sea. So we can say that Australia is separated from Asia from the north by Arafura Sea and from the north of west by Timor Sea. Okay, and then we can say that to the north of east of Australia is the world's greatest barrier reef. Okay, this is called as a Great Barrier Reef. Okay, now Great Barrier Reef is always asked in your government examination that where is the Great Barrier Reef located. So that is in Australia, and to the east of that is Coral Sea. Okay, and if you move further east, then you will see that there is a New Caledonia that belongs to France. Okay, and if you move further east, then it is a South Pacific Ocean, and to the southeast of Australia is what? Your Tasman Sea and New Zealand. So we can say that to the south of east of Australia is New Zealand, separated by Tasman Sea. Tasman Sea because there is an island whose name is what? Tasmania. You can see that there is this is Tasmania Island. So Tasman Sea here is the Tasman Sea that is named by Tasmania Island. Okay, so I have covered every details about New Zealand. So if you want to see about the New Zealand, then you can go to my previous classes. Okay, now come to Australia. Okay, and what is to the south of Australia? So we can say Great Australian Bight. Okay, so you can see that to the south of Australia is Great Australian Bight. Okay, and as you move to further south of Australia, then you will go to Antarctica. Okay, that is a very cold region. Now come to the main central land of. Now we can say that before moving to this to further details of Australia, we can say that to the western coast of Australia, that we can say that this is my western coast of Australia. One of the very important city is Perth. So we can say that Perth is to the western coast of Australia, and I think that is very popular. Perth, because a lot of cricket is being going on Perth. Now, most of the important cities of Australia is to the eastern coast of Australia. Okay, so we can say that the capital of Australia is Canberra, that is on the eastern coast. Then Wollongong to the eastern coast, then Sydney, then Newcastle, then Grafton, then Gold Coast, then Brisbane. So you must have heard about Brisbane, क्योंकि वहाँ पे cricket होता है. Brisbane, Sydney में भी होता है, and then Brisbane, and then Mary, Broad, then Gladstone. Okay, then further north you will move to Townsville, Tully. So all the important cities of Australia are to the eastern coast. Okay, then you can also see that there is Adelaide. Okay, there is Adelaide. So there is a cricket. You know that town is very popular by cricket. The cricket tournament that is being played. Okay, now I will see that. How Australia has been divided. Okay, so we can say that this part that is to the western part of Australia is called as a Western Australia. So this is my Western Australia. Western Australia. So Western Australia, and here this part, here to here and up to here, it is called as my Northern Territory. So this is my Northern Territory. Northern Territory. And this part that is to the east, this is called the Queensland. Okay, so this is my Queensland. Okay, so come to this part. So we can say that this part that is to the north of east is a Queensland, and we know that to the north of east, if we move if we move further north here to the north of east part, then that is that point is called as Cape York Peninsula. So this part is a Cape York Peninsula. Why peninsula? Because it is surrounded by three sides, 1, 2, 3 sides by sea. So this is a peninsula, and its name is Cape York Peninsula, and this part is having the tropical rainforest, because that is close to equator. So where is the equator? So you can see that this is your equator. Okay, this part. Yes, this is crossing through the 0 degree. This is your equator. So we can say north of east of Australia, this part is called as Cape York Peninsula, and that is having equatorial rainforest. Okay, so this part is your what? Queensland. Okay, this part is your Queensland. And further, if you see the division, then you can say New South Wales. This part is your New South Wales. Okay, this is your New South Wales. Okay, so in your New South Wales, there is the capital of Australia, that is Canberra, and Sydney is also in New South Wales. Okay, and Newcastle is also in New South Wales. And then you are seeing very small part here where there is an Adelaide city, and this part is called as Victoria. So Melbourne is in Victoria. So we can say that this part to the south of east is Victoria. Okay, can you see this? No. Okay, let's come here. So we can say that this part, okay, to the south of east is a Victoria, and Melbourne is in Victoria. Then if we further move, this part is also your south of east part, and this is called your what? This is called as a New South Wales. Okay, Darling River is in New South Wales. You can see that there is a Darling River in New South Wales, and there is also another river in New South Wales, and its name is Murray, Murray, and Lachlan Lands, Lachlan, Lachlan is also in New South Wales, and the important city in New South Wales is Canberra. So you can see that in New South Wales you are having Canberra, Sydney, Okay, and Newcastle, Wollongong, these important cities are there in New South Wales. And in Victoria, that is this part. In Victoria, we are having Melbourne, and yes, Melbourne is very important. And we know that this Victoria and Tasmania is being separated by a strait that is called as a Bass Strait. Bass Strait. Okay. And Tasmania is known for its fruit cultivation. So here a lot of fruit is being grown. So once again, that this part is your Victoria part. Okay, and Melbourne is an important city here. Then your this part is your New South Wales part, and then this north big part here, north of east, is your Queensland, and then this part here is this part. Once again, let me show you that this part is your Queensland, and this part is your Northern Territory. Okay, Northern Territory is there, and your this part here, this whole part is your Southern Australia. Okay, that is your Southern Australia. So this part is your Southern Australia. So you can see your Southern Australia part. That this part here, this part is your Southern Australia part. And then this which is called as a Western part is your Western Australia. So we consider Central Australia is mainly a desert. Okay, Central Australia is mainly a desert. So what are the deserts that are being found in Central Australia? So some of the important deserts in Central Australia are, just see. So we can say, if we talk about the deserts, then one of the desert that we have is a Great Sandy Desert. Then other is your Tanami Desert, and other is your Great Victoria Desert is there. So we can say that central part of Australia is desert. And then if we are moving to the north of western part, then we can say that there is a Kimberley Plateau. Okay, so you know what is Plateau. Plateau is a region that is surrounded by sea from three sides. So Kimberley Plateau is there. Okay, and yes, can you see? Yes, so yes, Kimberley Plateau. Okay, and that is north of east. And then in the central part we are having Great Sandy Desert. Lake Gregory is also there. Then yes, here you can see that yes, the Nami Desert and Lake Wood. Then here it is your Berkeley Tableland. Okay, and as you move to the north, then you are having Arnhem Land. Okay, and then here you are find Gulf of Carpentaria. Okay, Gulf of Carpentaria. And if you move further to the central part, then you can see that here is a Great Victoria Desert. Okay, Great Victoria Desert, and here it is your Simpson Desert. So we can see that central part, this you can see that this central part is mainly a desert, Simpson Desert. Then as you move to the eastern part, then again you can see that there is a Great Artesian. Okay, then Stony Desert is again in the central part. Then Simpson Desert, so desert, Simpson Desert is there. Stony Desert is there. Then we have Great Artesian Basin is here. Okay, and then Buckland Table Land is there. And then you can see that to the eastern coast there is a Great Dividing range is there. So in the eastern coast you are having a great dividing range is there, and here you can find Murray River. Murray River is there. Then this is the Victoria part. Okay, this is your Victoria part. So in Victoria part, what you are having? You are having Murray River, Darling, then Lachlan River, Murray Bridge, and then again Murray. Okay, then we can see the highest mountain that is in the Australia is in the eastern coast, and its name is Mount Kosciuszko. Mount Kosciuszko. Mount Kosciuszko. It is the highest mountain in Australia. Okay. Then you can say Bass Strait is also there, which separates Victoria from Tasmania. Okay, so great dividing range in the eastern coast. And if you move to the north of east of Australia, then Great Barrier Reef is there, and you can see that two rivers are there, Michelle River and Gilbert River. These two important rivers are there in the northeastern part. And then there is a Cape York Peninsula, that is also very important, and this Cape York Peninsula is having a tropical rainforest. Okay, so you can see that central of Australia is desert and north of eastern part is a tropical rainforest. Okay, I think that is sufficient for you to know about the Australia. Okay, now one important thing is that there is an Eyre Peninsula, Eyre, Eyre Peninsula. You can see the Eyre Peninsula here in Great Australian Bight is also there. Okay, so I think yes, some of the lakes that you can see in Great Victorian Desert, the Lake Barley, Lake Carre, Lake Lefroy, Lake Cowan, and then to the extreme western part is Victoria Range. Victoria Range is there. You can see Victoria Range, and then yes, Stirling Range is there. Okay, yes, then I think that is sufficient to know about this Australia. Now let's cover some of the important points concerning Australia. Okay, so what is the economy of the Australia? So everything that you have to know about this. So before starting all these, once again I am reiterating that this is your western part. This whole up to this is your Western Australia. This part is your what? This part is your Northern Territory, and then and then to the south of this is your Southern Territory. Okay, and then the north of eastern part is your Queensland, and we can say that north of east of Queensland is the Great Barrier, and then your this part is your what? This part is your, that is south of eastern part is your New South Wales. Okay, so a lot of rivers are there in New South Wales like Darling, Lachlan and Murray Bidgee. Okay, and Murray River is also there. So Murray River is coming from the Adelaide here. Okay, so Adelaide is in South Australia. Okay, so Adelaide, you can see here is your Adelaide. That is very important town as far as cricket tournaments are concerned. So from Adelaide there is coming Murray River, and that is going further and dividing into, so Murray River is dividing into Darling, Lachlan and Murray Bidgee. And then you can see that this south of eastern part is your Victoria. So I think that you must have this part is your Victoria part. I think that you must have understood all the divisions of Australia. And in the Victoria part there is Melbourne. You must have heard about the Melbourne cricket. Okay, so now when you have understood about the Australia, then know something about the Australia. So what is Australia? Officially the Commonwealth of Australia is a sovereign country comprising the mainland of the Australian continent, the island of Tasmania. So you have seen the island of Tasmania here. Yes, island of Tasmania and numerous smaller islands. It is the largest country in Oceania, Oceania, and the world's sixth largest country by total area. The population is 2.6 crore only, very sparsely populated. Population बहुत ही कम है, is highly urbanized and heavily concentrated onto the eastern seaboard. So you have seen that it is very populous to the eastern coast, because all the important cities like Melbourne, Canberra, Sydney, Newcastle, Brisbane, all are on the eastern coast. So it is, it is having a very high concentration on the eastern seaboard. Australia's capital is Canberra and its largest city is Sydney. So Canberra and Sydney, you can see that capital is Canberra and largest city is Sydney. Okay. The country's other major metropolitan areas are Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide. So you have seen the Adelaide. Yes, here you can see the Adelaide is there, Adelaide. And then you have seen the Brisbane. And yes, here is a Brisbane, Newcastle, Sydney, on the eastern coast, okay? And Perth is on the western coast. So once again, that the metropolitan areas are Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth and Adelaide. Perth is on western coast. So yes, Australia is a highly developed country with the world's 14th largest economy. It has a high income economy with the world's 10th highest per capita income. So per capita income जो है बहुत ही high है. It is 10th highest in the world. It is a regional power and has the world's 13th largest military expenditure. Australia has the world's 8th largest immigrant population, with the immigrants accounting for 29% of the population. So Australia is giving a lot of room to the immigrants, with 29% of the populations are the immigrants, having the third highest human development index. So human development index third highest, the 8th highest ranked democracy globally. The country ranks highly in the quality of life, health, education, economic freedom, civil liberties and political rights, with all its major cities faring well in global competitive livability survey. Australia is a member of the United Nations, G20, Commonwealth of Nations, ANZUS, ANZUS, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, whose headquarters is in Paris, France, World Trade Organization, WTO, Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, Pacific Islands Forum and the ASEAN Plus 6 mechanism. So I have covered about all these international organizations when I covered New Zealand. So you can see my previous class on New Zealand. Okay, now let's talk about the geography. So what we have studied, I am just summarizing that. So surrounded by the Indian and Pacific Ocean, Australia is separated from Asia by the Arafura and Tamur Sea. So you can see where is Arafura and where is Tamur Sea. This is your Arafura and this is your Tamur Sea. So once again, I can say that surrounded by the Indian and the Pacific Ocean, Australia is separated from Asia by Arafura and Tamur Sea, with the Coral Sea lying off the Queensland coast. So you have seen that this is your Queensland part. This is your Queensland part. Okay. And you can see that here is your Coral Sea and this is your Great Barrier Reef. Okay. Yes. So surrounded by the Indian and Pacific Ocean, Australia is separated from Asia by Arafura and Tamur Sea, with the Coral Sea lying off the Queensland coast and the Tasman Sea lying between Australia and the New Zealand. So you have seen the Tasman Sea too. That Tasman Sea, if you move to the south of east, then you can see that Tasman Sea is there. So we can say that between Victoria, that is the southeast of Australia, and this region, New South Wales, and New Zealand, there is a Tasman Sea, and that is named after Tasmania, an island which belongs to Australia. Okay, and the world's small and sixth. Australia, owing to its size and isolation, is often dubbed the island continent and is sometimes considered the world's largest island. Australia has 34,218 kilometers of coastline and claims an extensive exclusive economic zone of 81,48,250 kilometers square. This exclusive economic zone does not include the Australian Antarctic Territory. Okay, the Great Barrier Reef. Now we are coming to the Great Barrier Reef. Yes, you can see that to the north of east of Australia is here. Great Barrier Reef. North of east of Australia is a Great Barrier Reef. So what is the Great Barrier? The Great Barrier Reef, the world's largest coral reef, lies a short distance off the north of east coast and extends for over 2,000 kilometers. It is really a very big 2,000 kilometers. That is not small. It is extending up to 2,000 kilometers. Great Barrier Reef. Okay. Mount Augustus, claimed to be the world's largest monolith, is located in Western Australia. At 2,228 meters, Mount Kosciuszko is the highest mountain onto the Australian mainland. Kosciuszko. So Mount Kosciuszko, I think that is somewhere here. Mount Kosciuszko is here, yes. Mount Kosciuszko. I've shown you. Okay. The highest mountain in the Australian mainland. Even taller are okay. So Australia's size gives it a wide variety of landscape with tropical rainforest in the northeast. So northeast of Australia here. You can say that this is your northeast. Tropical rainforest is in this region because that is close to equator. Okay, tropical rainforest in the northeast, mountain ranges in the south of east, and we can say that to the south of east, like here, you are having the mountain ranges, and the Australia's highest mountain peak is also here. So north of east, mountain ranges, and south of west and east is also a mountain ranges. Okay, and desert in the central. So we have seen a desert. So mainly the central part of Australia, this whole part of Australia is desert. Okay, so we have seen Australia is the driest inhabited continent. Its annual rainfall averaged over continental area is less than 500 millimeter. The population density 3.2 inhabited per square kilometer, although a large proportion of the population lives along the temperate southeastern coast. Okay, so southeastern. तो मैंने देखा कि southeastern coast में बहुत है. Why? Yes, this is your south of eastern coast because all the important cities are there in the south of eastern coast. Okay, Eastern Australia is marked by the Great Dividing Range. So we have seen the Great Dividing Range. Great Dividing Range is like here up to this, the eastern coast, Great Dividing Range. Okay, Eastern Australia is marked by the Great Dividing Range, which runs parallel to the coast of Queensland. So parallel to the coast of Queensland. Yeah, this, yes, parallel to the coast of Queensland. Yes. New South Wales. So Great Dividing Range is running parallel to this. That is what? That is which is Queensland, and then New South Wales, this area. And much of the Victoria, so this area. So we can say Great Dividing Range is up to whole of the eastern coast of Australia. The name is not strictly accurate because part of the range consists of low hills and the highlands are typically no more than 1600 meters. Okay, the coastal uplands and the belt of Brigalow Island lies between the coast and the mountain, while inland of the dividing range are large areas of grassland. These includes western plains of New South Wales. So New South Wales western plain, like this area, New South Wales western plains of the New South Wales, and the Insalite upland, Barclay, Tableland and Mulga lands of inland Queensland. The northernmost point of the east coast is the tropical rainforest, Cape York Peninsula. So we can say that Cape York Peninsula is the north of east. So this area is your Cape what is the name of this? Cape York Peninsula, and that is having a tropical